All right, let's dive into one of history's most epic stories, the legendary Library of Alexandria. Now, this wasn't just some building with a bunch of scrolls. No, this was the intellectual heartbeat of the entire ancient world, a place that's fascinated people for centuries.
But for all its fame, the thing everyone really remembers about the library is its ending. And it leaves us with this huge, nagging question. How could something so important, holding basically all the knowledge of its time, just disappear?
For a long, long time, one very dramatic story has been the go-to answer. We've all heard it, right? It goes like this. In 48 BC, Julius Caesar is in Alexandria. Things get messy in the harbor. He sets fire to the enemy's fleet, and the flames just spread, engulfing the library and turning the collective wisdom of the world into ash. One man, one fire, one tragic end.
But hang on a second. Is that what really happened? Was it that simple? Well, the truth is way more complicated and honestly, a whole lot more interesting. It wasn't one clean catastrophe. It was more like a death by 1,000 cuts.
So, to really understand how it all ended, we have to go right back to the beginning, because this library wasn't just a building, it was this revolutionary idea that was meant to change everything.
See, the Great Library wasn't even a standalone thing. It was part of a bigger complex called the Mauseon, which means Shrine of the Muses. Think of it less like your local library and more like the world's first ever state-funded research university. It was basically a think tank where the smartest people of the age got paid to just live, think, research, and debate.
And the vision behind it? Absolutely breathtaking. After Alexander the Great died, his general, Ptolemy, took over Egypt. He and his son decided to do something no one had ever dreamed of: collect all of human knowledge in one single place. The goal was simple and insane: make Alexandria the undisputed center of the intellectual universe.
Okay, so you want to collect every book in the world. How do you actually do that? Well, let's just say the Ptolemies had a very aggressive strategy. Their methods were frankly genius. Sure, they sent out agents with basically unlimited funds to buy up scrolls, but their wildest move was what they did at the port. A royal decree said that any ship docking in Alexandria had to be searched. Any book found was immediately confiscated. They'd take it to the library, make a perfect copy, and then, get this, they'd return the copy to the original owner and keep the original for themselves. This one story just sums up their whole attitude. Ptolemy III wanted the official Athenian state copies of their greatest plays. Athens was like, okay, but you have to give us a massive security deposit in silver. Ptolemy agreed, took the original scrolls, had the most beautiful copies made, and sent the copies back to Athens. He basically said, you guys can keep the silver. We're keeping the originals. He was willing to pay any price for the real deal. And the result of all this? At its absolute peak, the library is thought to have held around 400,000 scrolls. And we're not just talking about heavy philosophy here. We're talking everything: poetry, medical texts, math, history, even cookbooks from all across the known world.
So when you gather all that knowledge and all those brilliant people in one place, something amazing happens. The library wasn't just storing information, it became a factory for creating it.
I mean, just look at the people who worked here. You had Xenodus, who basically created the official versions of Homer's epics that we still study. You had Callimachus, who invented the world's first library catalog, the Phoenix. And then you have a guy like Eratosthenes, who used the data in the library to calculate the circumference of the Earth, and was shockingly accurate. This place was on fire with innovation.
By the way, if you're finding this story as incredible as I do me a quick favor and hit that follow, like, or share button. It seriously helps us keep making more deep dives into history just like this one.
So if the library was this amazing, world-changing place, what on earth went wrong? Well, the truth isn't a single dramatic fire. It's a slow, painful unraveling that took place over hundreds of years. When you look at the timeline, the real story becomes clear. The problem started way before Caesar. In 145 BC, a paranoid king expelled all the foreign scholars, causing a huge brain drain. Then, Caesar's fire in 48 BC happened, but ancient sources say it only burned a warehouse of scrolls by the docks. The main library itself was fine. The real damage came centuries later. Around 270 AD, the whole royal district, where the library was, got destroyed in a war. And the final nail in the coffin was in 391 AD, when a Christian mob destroyed the library's large sister branch.
So here's the bottom line. The myth gives us this simple, dramatic story of one big fire. But the reality?
It was a slow decline over more than 500 years. It was a perfect storm of budget cuts, political chaos, multiple wars, and just plain neglect. There was no single moment where it was all lost. It just faded away.
But here's the amazing thing. Even though the scrolls are gone, even though the building is dust, the spirit of the Library of Alexandria is alive and well. Its most powerful contributions were ideas. And you know what? Ideas are a lot harder to destroy than buildings.
The library's true legacy is the very idea that all knowledge should be collected and shared. The work they did there created the foundations for how we study things today, everything from organizing text to creating catalogs. Honestly, every great university, every research center owes a debt to that wild dream in Alexandria. It even inspired the incredible new Bibliotheca Alexandrina, built right near the original site.
And that just leaves us with one last haunting thought. We know what we gained from the library's ideas, but what did we lose when all those scrolls vanished? What lost plays, forgotten histories, or incredible scientific breakthroughs might we have today if it had all survived? That's a secret that, unfortunately, history took with it. Thanks for tuning in.